And without further ado,
great.
Answer his question.
Answer his question. Thanks. Good morning. Cat's out of the bag. We're going to talk about health and fitness. Not always the most exciting topic, especially in our arena. And I believe there's a reason for it. I believe my industry has really missed the point for people like you. They tell you all that matters is how you look, right? Just lose a certain amount of weight or get this certain body fat percentage and life's supposed to be amazing. I'm going to call it BS. I typically don't see that. Typically somebody gets there and they're like, oh my God, this sucks. I'm depriving myself. I'm miserable. No one wants to be around me. No one loves me anymore because I look better. This is too hard. I'm out, right? And we just get stuck in this cycle of like thinking we got to look this certain way. And I want to share with you that I learned the hard way that that's not the truth. It was 2008, 2009, I remember Great Economy. I owned a gym in that realm, and I had a specialty gym. It was a private gym, and I had kind of hiring clients coming in, and I needed to survive. So I thought, I'm going to do something crazy at 33 years old, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to make an Olympic team to prove how good my nutrition and training protocols are for people. So I scoured the internet. I live in Southern California. I chose bobsledding. I didn't understand cold weather until my first visit to Lake Placid, but I chose it for a reason. To be a brakeman on the U.S. bobsled team, you just have to be highly explosive, fast, strong, and in all honesty, kind of dumb. 90 miles an hour tin can, not the smartest thing. You get there and they give you a Kevlar vest, a bulletproof vest. I'm like, I know what this is. Like, why am I putting this on? And they said it's really simple. At these speeds on ice, when you crash, there's so much friction that your clothes will melt into your skin without this, and the regrafting surgeries are horrible. Yeah, I'm thinking, okay, cool, let's do this, right? Great. Really silly, but it was an interesting process because over a 10-month period, I make this team. I'm 10 years older than all the other guys. And let's be honest, I'm a scrub on the team, right? Like, I'm dealing with some super freak athletes. I'm athletic enough to be there. And it was an awesome experience because over a 10-month period, I put on 52 pounds of lean muscle mass. I got to a point where I ran a 4.40, had a 42-inch vertical jump, like really good statistical numbers. I can physically build super freaks. And I was eating perfect back then. Well, what I thought was perfect. I was following the paleo diet. I was avoiding carbs because if you want to be super healthy, super fit back then, you don't eat carbs. Now again, we're talking about the trends, right? They come and they go. That was the trend back then. And so I was doing it. And on the outside, I looked like a super freak. I mean, I was 30 pounds heavier than this. I had literally like an 8-pack of abs. Like, it was incredible. I thought I had figured it out. And everything was going really well until one morning I wake up to a baby girl. All of a sudden I wake up and realize, oh my God, people died doing this. Like, the top 4 guys in this team are making like $2,500 a month in a stipend. The rest of us were paying our way to be there. Like, there was nothing in it for this little girl except this high risk that something bad could happen to me. So I pulled the plug. But I think to myself, what a great dad I am. No dad bod here, right? I'm super fit, I'm super healthy. I did everything right. I trained twice a day, 6 days a week. I ate perfect. And on the outside, I looked like it. And everything was going really well the first week. By the second week, I started getting really tired. Something wasn't right. By the end of the second week, I was absolutely destroyed. I couldn't get out of bed. I had to stay in a dark room all day. I didn't want to interact with anyone. I didn't want to interact with my child. Like, something was not right. And one morning I wake up and like patches of hair had fallen out of my face, and I could not explain that. I am just thinking, oh, I'm just tired. It makes sense. I was training so hard. At this point, I'm thinking, okay, this isn't good. So I call my doctor. He runs some labs, and he calls me 2 days later, and he said, hey, it's not your face I'm worried about. So you need to come in and see me right away. I was like, okay. I roll in. The first thing he tells me is, I don't know how to tell you this because I'm looking at you on the outside, and you look incredibly healthy, but I'm looking at your labs, and to start off with, you're type 2 diabetic. Like, your glucose levels and your A1C levels are so high, I got to give you metformin. You're type 2 diabetic. I'm like, okay, right off the bat, no way. I follow the paleo diet. Like, I haven't had a carb in 10 months. There's no way I am this realm of a diabetic. He's like, I don't know what to tell you. Something's off. You're in extreme hypothyroidism. I'm like, doc, look at my abs. Like, this is not hypothyroidism. He said, I don't tell you, your thyroid is just shut down. And here's the kicker. You're in what we call andropause. I said, what's that? It's male menopause. You're in male menopause at 33 years old looking like this. Here's your metformin, here's your thyroid hormones, and here's your testosterone injections. You now need these just to live a normal life. I was like, whoa. I said, okay, well, what about my face? I came in here because of my face. Like, what's going on here? And he's like, oh, well, that's an autoimmune disease from too much stress. There's no drug for that. You just need to stress less. I said, but I handle stress really well. Like, I thrive on stress. He said, obviously your body doesn't. So I guess you have to figure that one out. I walk into this guy's office believing I'm the epitome of health because everything we tell you to do, I did to an extreme. On the outside, I look like it. I'm now walking out of this guy's office realizing I am closer to death than I am to optimal living. But hey, guess what? I look good. I didn't know what to do with that. I mean, what do you do with somebody that's absolutely destroyed on the inside but looks incredible on the outside? That's not what's supposed to happen, right? It took me 6 years to figure out what I had done because nobody knew what to do with me. I started getting bits and pieces of ideas from people. The first one is I called Rob Wolf, who wrote The Paleo Diet. He wanted to interview for a podcast with what I do with my female clients. Before we started, I shared with him, hey, here's what's going on. I must have done this wrong. How do I do it better? And his response was, oh man, I didn't write this book for people like you. Like, what do you, nowhere in your book does it say, what do you mean? He's like, well, look, when you write a book, you got to sell a book. The largest population in America, 68% of them, they don't have a lot of stress. They don't like to exercise. They're kind of lazy, is the way he put it. He said, you're the opposite of that. You have a ton of stress. You exercise too much, and you're the farthest thing from lazy. He said, so I wrote this book because I got to sell the book. That's the largest population out there, and that's who most people are writing for, but you need something totally different. You feed that group over their carbohydrates, their biggest issue is insulin. They're going to become diabetics. They're going to die. Your type of people, it's the stress hormones. If you don't learn how to control the stress hormones, you're going to end up in the same exact boat as those people. I see it all the time. I have some of the top level CrossFitters in the world. You look at their blood chemistry, there's no different than the person who hates exercise and overeats carbs. Blood chemistry looks exactly the same, right? It's crazy. So he tells me, you know what, my people like you, I could have them eating up to 600 grams of carbohydrates a day. I'm like, wait a minute, you call those the devil in your book, now you're telling me to eat 600 grams of those? He's like, yeah, the best way to control stress hormones is with insulin, carbohydrates. You spike insulin, the cortisol comes down. The only thing that brings it down faster, you've all figured it out. What takes the edge off at night? A little alcohol, right? That'll bring stress hormones down real quick, but there's some metabolic damage that goes with it. I thought that was interesting, so I started eating carbs every day, and guess what happened? 2 weeks. Came off my metformin. My blood sugar's been stable ever since. I've never gone a day without eating carbs since then. So that led me on this journey of like, whoa, I started questioning everything, right? I started questioning everything. And I'm glad it happened. It sucked. I will not. It was a long 6 years of recovery. But I'm glad it happened because what it's done, it's allowed me to work with people like you. So I healed up myself. I started finding all these experts in the world that could help with that. And then I got in the trenches with people like you. I worked with 450 CEOs in the last 5 years, one-on-one in the trenches. Along with you guys, professional athletes, tactical teams, some SEALs, some PJs, some SWAT teams. I've seen what stress does to the human physiology. And I've come to this realization, it's not a lack of exercise that's your problem. It's an inability to manage fatigue. Fatigue is your greatest enemy, yet nothing we teach you is how to overcome fatigue. I'm reading an article Bill shared with me. It's really good. It's like this new workout that's a 45-minute workout, once a week. First off, there's not one reference to science in the article backing these claims, right? It's just a claim. But they use an example of this woman that's training 10 to 12 hours a week. Do the math on that. 12 hours a week, that's 2 hours, 6 days a week. And she can't control her weight. She's falling apart. So she goes to 90 days of just one 45-minute workout a week. That's called dealing with fatigue. That's called recovering from fatigue. That woman could have done anything at a lesser volume, and she would have lost weight, felt better, and been able to perform better when she went back to her old workouts. It was a perfect example of fatigue is the problem. You're overly stressed, you don't sleep well, you're grinding at the gym, right? We think it simply comes down to this. Grit and grind is what creates success. But reality, it's your ability to recover and manage fatigue is where the answer lies. So I know I'm a health and fitness guy, but what I'm going to teach you today is simply how to recover better and how to manage your fatigue, overcome your fatigue, and optimize performance. And then from there, it's lights out. And it's not as hard as we make it seem to be. And here's the reality. Here's why I like this so much, is that the people you love the most are actually the ones paying the price for your fatigue. Have you noticed that? Simple, easy question. When you get home at night, do the people you love the most get the best of you or the rest of you? They're typically getting the leftovers because you have no idea how to manage your energy during the day. You're exhausted when you get home. It's give me a beer and put me on the couch and just leave me alone. Let me fall asleep. That was my little girl's experience of daddy when she was little. So what I'm going to teach you today is simply this. I'm going to teach you how to overcome fatigue. I'm going to teach you how to create a lifestyle around the stressful lives you live, to manage it, to optimize it, to be resilient to it. And I'm going to teach you when you get home at night how to have that energy you really want to share with the people that matter most. That's a beautiful thing. Here's what I don't care about. I don't care what you look like. I don't judge my ability to be successful by how much I can change how you look. Because I can change how you look super quick. Right, Joe? It's pretty easy to change how someone looks very aggressively. It's very damaging. But that doesn't mean it's good, right? Look at The Biggest Loser. Oh my Lord Almighty. Season 11, I got to work with 2 of the girls that came off the ranch. It was the worst experience of my life. Yeah, these women lost a lot of weight. But when I ran their blood chemistry, they were dying inside. And that $250,000 was worth the damage to them. I said, after taxes, it's not even $250,000. We don't care. We want it. It was devastating. Weight loss does not equal good for you. So what I'm going to share with you today is simply that. The tools and strategies I've learned you need as high-stressed, high-performing individuals to get more out of life and to be more present with the ones you love the most. This is a fun topic. Here you'll see a couple of people have heard this speech. They applied the strategies I'm going to teach you. It's a strategy session. A couple months later, I get emails like this, and I like a few things. 1, I want your cardiologist to be my best friend. Heart attack is our biggest killer. And 2, I want your relationships to get better. That's where the good life is. What I don't care about is how much weight you lose on my systems or my ideas. But that's what everybody wants to judge me by. I say this. These people heard the exact same message, and they both want to share how much weight they lost. I don't really care. I really don't. I'll give you any reason why. I now have a 5-year-old little boy. He's the most energetic little kid ever. But when I found out I was having him, I wanted to make sure that I was going to show up every day in a highly energetic state. So my goal was every night to outlast him. If he wanted to get on the playground, I'm on the playground. I'm that crazy dad that's running around chasing 30 kids to the playground while the other parents are sitting on their phones on the sidelines. That was my goal. And most days I win. There are days I still lose because the way we live our life is hard. But there's one thing I've noticed over the last 5 years. There's one thing he's never commented on. He's never commented on how my abs look. There's never been a comment on, hey, Dad, you're looking a little chunky today. Dad, you're looking ripped today. He doesn't care about that. All he cares about is, do I have the energy to engage? All right? So I believe true success comes from great energy, great focus, great performance. That's what I believe to be successful. I do not care what your body does. Okay? Now, it's okay if you want your body to look a certain way. I'm totally cool with that. I'm just saying, I don't believe that's the most important factor in all of this in our world we live in. If you're going to get on stage and make your money by flexing your muscles, it's all that matters. Okay? But I don't think that's any of us in this room.
Right, usually that's the end result. You look better because you're doing all the things.
Exactly, yeah. And it sticks, and you're not miserable to be around, and it's actually fun. Versus sacrificing everything to get to this point where you are the most dysfunctional human being ever, and no one wants to be around you, but hey, you look good. You're freaking snapping anybody who looks at you wrong, right? That's not great living. That's looking good, feeling horrible. I want you looking good, feeling good, and performing good.